It could be a lot of things that is causing bad retention. We pretty much just have to narrow it down to see what it is that is actually going on. So there could be multiple explanations, but I'm just trying to give you guys all of them, or at least the ones that I know of, to see what is actually going on. Go ahead and shine, darling, go ahead and shine, my dear, 'cause who cares if you might mess it up, just shine. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Yoyis, and on my channel I teach you guys everything lash extensions related. So for today's video, I am going to give you guys my top tips on how to improve your retention. I feel like this is the #1 topic that everyone asks me about. I know a bunch of you do struggle with retention, and let me just clear the air. First things first, I feel like as a beginner, you kind of have to go through that struggle. You kind of have to go through that journey, and it is not a bad thing if you are struggling with retention. It happens to all of us, and there will be days when it still happens to the best of us. So I'm not saying that you need to have perfect retention every time. Yes, it would be very helpful, but trust me when I say that it still happens to me sometimes. I don't know what could be causing it. So let me give you guys a little story, this crazy experience that has been happening to me. And I don't know if you guys can relate, but sometimes we sit there and blame ourselves, and we sit there and wonder, like, what did I do? Like, is it the glue? Like, what could have happened? Like, I don't understand why my clients or so-and-so continues to have bad retention. So you kind of get in this guilt trip, or you start feeling bad and you start blaming yourself, and you pretty much feel like it's your fault. But you also have to get down to the bottom of it, because sometimes it's not even you, sometimes it's your clients. And I'm only saying this because I have really good retention with all my clients, but there's just that one girl that one girl that I'm just like, okay, I don't understand what is going on, like what's happening. The first month that she was coming to me, everything was good. She would come back needing a perfect fill. She had more than 50% of her lashes. And then just recently, like this past 2-3 times, I'm just like, okay, what the hell is going on? Because you need a full set every time. Like, I don't understand. So we kind of had to narrow it down and pretty much figure out what is the reason, what could have caused the bad retention. You know, washing her lashes every day, so it couldn't have been that. She wasn't picking at them, she wasn't too rough with them. So we came to the conclusion that when she was washing her lashes, she would use a regular cotton towel, and when she would pat her lashes dry, her lashes would get stuck, so she would pull on them and tug at them, and the towel would rip out her extensions. So we thought that was the cause of it. Okay, so I had her change towels. I asked her to stop using a facial towel, and if she could, to buy a fan. That way she could start, you know, drying her lashes out. She doesn't want to buy a fan. I mean, I'm gonna have to eventually get her to buy her one, or I'm probably just gonna buy her one and be like, here, because your retention is giving me a headache. I ended up switching her to pretty much a facial towel, or like one of those napkins, disposable towels, napkins, kitchen towels. What do you call them? You know what I'm talking about? So I had her switch over to using that, and you know, it was going good. It was going good for like a week, and then next thing you know, she comes back again with bad retention. So I'm just like, okay, what the heck? Like, I know it's not my products. Like, I know it's not my products, because all my clients have really good retention, but she's the only one that I'm just like, I can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on. She's not picking at them. She changed her towels. She's washing them every day. She's not, like, she's supposed to be taking care of them really good, right? So this last time when she came in, again, she needed a full set. She had a couple stragglers on there, but I'm just like, okay, like what can it be? Like, so we pretty much figured it out, and she is washing her lashes 3 times a day. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, why? Okay, once is good enough, but to do it like 3 times, I'm like, okay, this is not that serious. Like, come on, dude. But it wasn't the fact that she was washing her lashes 3 times a day. It's just she has a very oily skin. So to her dermatologist recommended that she washes her face 3 times a day. And then on top of it too, like when she goes to work out or she like has 2 jobs, she goes from job to job, she feels like her face is too oily. So she goes home, washes her face real quick, and then, you know, proceeds to do, you know, go on through her day. So she does that in the morning, evening, and at nighttime. And she doesn't wear heavy makeup. Like, she hardly even wears makeup. So I'm just like, okay, what, like, why do you feel like you need to wash your face 3 times a day? And now I mean, as a licensed esthetician, I don't think you should be washing your face 3 times a day. I think early morning and nighttime is good enough, but 3 times a day, it's too much for your skin, you know? So at least in my opinion. So don't come at me, just saying. So we pretty much came to the conclusion that it's her cleanser. It's not the shampoo, because she doesn't wash her lashes 3 times a day. It's not the shampoo, so it can't be the lash shampoo. It's the fact that when she washes her face, she's using, I don't know what she said it was, but the cleanser is meant for very oily skin with very active acne. She doesn't have active acne, but because that's what her dermatologist recommended, she continues to use it, right? It has like benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, so it's very harsh chemicals, and if you're using it 3 times a day, you could only imagine what it's doing to your extensions. So it's not that she washes her extensions with that, it's that she gets it all over her face and it runs down to her lashes. So she is getting her lashes wet 3 times a day. So I think that was what was causing it all. I'm still waiting for her to come in and to see if it is, but it's been a couple days. She hasn't texted me, so I think we're good. So the reason why I'm telling you guys this story is because if you know you're doing a good job, as in placement, as in washing your lashes, as in prepping, priming, then we need to figure out what is the actual cause. It can't just be just you, or it can't just be your client. It can't just be the products that you're using. It has a lot to do with everything that goes on in between. So the reason why I told you guys this story is because we had to narrow it down, and I had to ask questions and pretty much figure out what was causing all of that and what was causing bad retention, because like I said, she was the only one that I was struggling with. So now let me get into my actual tips and what I do recommend. Hopefully that, you know, that little story that I shared with you guys will pretty much help you guys understand that sometimes it's not you, you know, sometimes your client overdoes it and doesn't realize it, you know, or sometimes your client underdoes it and doesn't even bother trying to take care of them. So let's just backtrack a little bit and actually get into the points or my tips. That way we can narrow it down and see what is actually going on. I can only recommend these things for you, but at the end of the day, it could be a lot more going on. Okay, so I'm pretty much just gonna walk you guys through the process of what I do from beginning to end in my sets and what helps me get really good retention. So first things first, I feel like these 2 tips are like probably, no, actually everything is pretty important, but I feel like a lot of people miss or just don't care about how important it is to prep your clients. By prep, I mean washing and priming your clients' lashes. I feel like a bunch of you guys are like, I don't got the time, I don't want to do it, I just don't want to deal with it. Okay, cool. If that's what you want, then go for it. But just remember that that could be the reason why your glue is not sticking, why that extension is not sticking, why they're popping off when you're brushing them, why your client goes home and they fall off within the next few days. That could be the number one reason. Sometimes you can't blame the glue. You can't just always blame the glue and say, oh, this glue sucks, when you didn't take the proper steps to properly prep your clients. So when it comes to washing and priming your clients' lashes, you need to. It is a must. I feel like ever since I started washing my clients' lashes, it has completely changed everything for me. I do use the London Lash primer, but again, I feel like every primer kind of does the job properly, but I feel like the London Lash primer has been my number one savior. I do have an old video where I talk about retention. It was like a voiceover, so I kind of was showing you guys how good my retention was, but I feel like my retention has been 10 times better since that video, and it's all because I switched over to London Lash. And no, I am not sponsored. No, not in any way am I talking about them because I'm getting paid. I'm talking about them because their products are just so good. So this lash wash is my lash wash. So I am gonna have lash washes coming out if you guys are interested, and they are the big bottle, so it's 150 millimeters, and these will go a long way. So I like using bigger lash pads for myself, that way I have enough product for my clients and it just lasts me a long time. You can sell little lash pads for your clients, but again, we're talking about you and what you need to do. So having a lash wash and a primer and prepping your clients perfectly before you start application is going to change everything for you. Because I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that if you guys don't wash or prime, or if you guys don't prime then at least wash, I feel like that's super important. So if you don't have a primer, that's fine. As long as you're washing your client's lashes, you can get away with it. But I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that if you don't do any of the steps and you just go in and try to like start placing a lash, and your lashes are like sliding all over the place, they don't stay in place, you've been holding there for like 20-30 seconds and it does not want to stick, it is because they have oils and residue and probably makeup that wasn't properly washed. So all that oil and debris that's on your client's lashes, it's like a little barrier. The glue will not stick to the natural lash. So prepping your client's lashes will make sure that your client's natural lashes are nice and clean, so when you place that extension, it is going to magnetically stick to that extension. So if you are not doing either of these, that is the reason why your extensions are not sticking. And especially when you try to go and brush through them and they all just pop off and you're like, what the heck just happened? Like, why is that even happening? You can't blame the glue. First of all, you can't blame the glue. I can guarantee you that you can use any glue, and if you're washing and priming, they will stick. So that is my number one tip. My number one tip for getting good retention, washing, priming, prepping is the first thing you should always be doing. Okay, and as far as glue, I feel like you are pretty much good to go with glue as long as you're washing and priming. That glue, no matter what glue it is that you're using, is gonna beautifully stick to that lash. But I feel like glue does play a big role in how well your retention is. Right now, I've been loving the London Lash, the Royal Bond. Again, I'm not sponsored. I'm only talking about them because I really do love the brand. And I'm only saying this because if my clients are coming back at 2-3 weeks with like super full sets, lashes grown out to the moon, I'm just saying, it just shows, you know, it just shows that whatever I'm doing works. So yes, the London Lash, the Royal Bond, and also their Power Bond is amazing, but I have been obsessing over the Royal Bond. So good. But this is a 0.5 to 1 second glue, so it is meant for more experienced artists, and I know a bunch of you guys are beginners. So if you are a beginner, I recommend a glue that is like 2 to 3 seconds. I feel like even 5 seconds is a little too slow. And if you're sitting there holding it for like 5-10 seconds, you're just like, what the heck is going on? You know, you get frustrated, and then that's when stickies happen, because you get frustrated, you leave that lash alone and it hasn't dried completely. So a glue that is 2 seconds or 3 seconds, just good. I do recommend the Flourish Lash Rapid Bond. So this is a 1 to 2 second glue, but if your humidity or room temperature is a little off, it will dry a little bit slower, so it kind of gives you a little bit of leverage. When it comes to glue and making sure that your glue is working its best, your room temperature and humidity plays a huge role in that, and it will play a huge role in how well your glue works and how well it attaches, and retention as well. So at the back of your glue, or even in the little baggie, or on the website, wherever it is that you're purchasing your glue, it's always going to tell you the ideal humidity or room temperature. With the Flourish Lash, it's ideal humidity is 55 to 70%, and with the London Lash, it is 30% to 80%. I feel like the London Lash works beautifully for me because I do live in a very dry place. Vegas is very dry and hardly ever any humidity, so the highest that it gets is to like 30%. So depending where you live at, you do have to use a glue that works best for your surroundings. You can't expect for a glue with low humidity to work in a very high humidity place. So that those are things that you're really going to have to look into and do your homework. There are glues that are meant for high humidity temperatures, but again, as long as you tweak your room, you have your room temperature set to how your glue works is best, then I can guarantee you you could use any glue. If you do live in a high humidity and you're trying to lower your humidity, I recommend getting a dehumidifier from Amazon. And if you do live in a very dry place like me, then I recommend getting a humidifier. Purchase that on Amazon, but again, making sure that your room temperature is where it needs to be at. That way your glue is working at its best is very, very, very important, and a lot of new technicians do struggle with that reason, just because they don't realize how important it is and how it affects your retention. So not only having a good glue, but also making sure that your room temperature and humidity is at its best is pretty much going to change everything for you guys. So again, if you have a little more experience, I would say 6 months to a year, and you're kind of getting the hang of everything, you pretty much already know what to do, I recommend getting the London Lash L'Oreal Bond. It is amazing, and then paired with all the London Lash products that I'm going to talk about, you just won't regret it. So if you do want a slower dry time glue because you are a beginner, I recommend anything that is 2 to 3 seconds. So I recommend the Flourish Lash Rapid Bond, and then I do have discount codes from them, so I will have it linked down below for you guys. So yes, now that we talked about prepping your clients, we talked about glue, the number one thing we have to talk about is proper placement. I don't think people are ever really taught how to properly place an extension. At least for me, when I took my first training, it pretty much was just like place the lash and go, you know, that's all you got to do, that's all you got to know. And I struggled a lot with that too, because not only are you trying to learn how to isolate, you're trying to just place that extension on there and just trying to get the full set done, but you don't realize how important it is having proper placement. And I talked about this in a couple of my videos already, so I had to go and run and get my whiteboard for you guys so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm talking about. So when it comes to proper placement, if you are not making sure that that base of that extension is properly attached to that natural lash, that is probably the reason that when you are brushing them, they're popping off, or when your client goes home and they're brushing them, they're just popping off. So again, it could be a lot of things that is causing bad retention. We pretty much just have to narrow it down to see what it is that is actually going on. So there could be multiple explanations, but I'm just trying to give you guys all of them, or at least the ones that I know of, to see what is actually going on. So when it comes to proper placement, I probably should do a whole separate video about this, but it's okay, we'll just do it in one. So when it comes to proper placement, you want to make sure that the base is completely glued onto the natural lash. Say this is your client's natural lash, okay? So say that's your client's natural lash, and say you're using a decurl lash, and decurl goes something like that. What is going on? Why am I so bad? Decurl goes something like that. So what you want to make sure is that this whole area of the extension is properly attached to the natural lash. So say you go in and you place that extension, but you don't realize that the extension, the base, is actually pointing up. You guys can see that. That looks so funky. So the base is actually pointing up. So instead of being straight parallel to the natural lash, your base of the extension is pointing up. So as you can see, that is not properly attached because the extension is pointing up. So you don't want that. And the only way you could tell if that's what you are doing is if you kind of turn to the side and kind of make sure what is actually going on. Because if you look at it straight ahead, you don't realize that the extension is properly not placed, because from your angle it looks good, but when you turn to the side, they're pointing up, and you don't want that. So what you want to do, okay, so what you want to do, there you go, use natural lash. So what you want to do is that whole section is pretty much straight on the natural lash. So as you can see, the whole base is properly attached to the natural lash. And of course, you do want to have about 0.5 to 2 millimeters of distance from the lash line to the extension. You do not want to have it straight on the skin because that's going to cause irritation. So pretty much that is as far as you want to get it out. But as you can see, the base is properly attached, and that is what's going to give you the best retention, because when your client goes in there to brush them out, it is not going to be yanking at them, it's not going to pull at them, and it will give you the best retention. So I hope that little demonstration helped you guys out. Anyway, so I hope that demonstration on proper placement helped you guys out. Placement is super important. If you don't realize how important it is, it's about proper placement, proper attachment, right amount of glue too. I can do a whole separate video all about this because there's so many little topics all in one. So sometimes you might be using too much glue, and too much glue is not good because then your lashes end up looking clumpy, but you are probably using too little glue, and that is the reason why those lashes are not sticking. So again, it could be a lot of things going on. We just have to narrow it down. Okay, so next tip will be not that very necessary, but I feel like it is super important. At least for me, it's probably one of the reasons why my retention has gotten so much better. And I'm sorry I'm only talking about this brand, but I have to talk about them just because I love them so much. So again, I'm talking about London Lash, but this time I'm talking about their Super Bonder. Amazing. I love the Super Bonder. I have tried other sealers, and if you guys have seen my latest my old retention video, I was talking about another brand. But again, I just wanted to try out different brands and kind of explore, so this is where I ended up. And I am not sponsored by London Lash, nor am I getting paid, nor am I associated with them. I just love the brand so much, so I love talking about them. So before anybody starts assuming something, I have to put it out there, which sucks that I have to put it out there, but I do. So yes, their Super Bonder, it is freaking amazing. I love it so much. So the thing about Super Bonder is that it will completely cure the glue from the outside in. So if you are misting, what it's doing is that yes, you do need the humidity pretty much help the glue bond. But if you're only misting, then you're only getting the outside cured. You're not fully getting those extensions, that glue fully cured even from the inside. So it can be that when your client steps out of your room, the extensions are still drying. It could cause irritation, it could cause burning. Some will probably fall off. So the reason why I like using Super Bonder over a mister is because it does the job for you. You don't have to mist anymore. It makes sure that that glue is 100% cured. There's not going to be no irritation, no burning after your client leaves, and they could go work out, they could get their lashes wet as soon as possible. So there is like nothing compares to a sealer or Super Bonder. I'm telling you, misting, it ain't it no more. It just does nothing for you. So definitely get a Super Bonder. It's going to improve everything for you. So with the glue, the primer, the sealer, the Super Bonder, washing your client's lashes, it works beautifully. This whole trio, I love it so much. And I do have to mention this product again. It's not necessary. Out of everything that I mentioned, all of that is very necessary. This product is not necessary, but it is meant for retention. So the reason why I'm mentioning it is because ever since I started using it, and at first I was kind of like, okay, you know, but now that I've been using it, I'm just like, why did I wait so long to use it? So this is the London Lash Retention and Speed Booster. First of all, it says retention, so why didn't I use it? Pretty much what this does is that you can use this after priming. I know it's a lot of things, but trust me, this is what helps me. So you can use this on the lash line right after priming. So pretty much what you'll do with this is, it even says it on the bottle, it says use the booster with a micro brush on natural lashes after cleanser and primer for improved retention. For increased speed of work, wipe a small amount of booster over the base of the extension on the strip to stop the adhesive from closing the fans. The alkaline properties of the booster improves the bonding and prepares the cuticles of the hair for stronger adhesion. So it pretty much says what it does. I love to use this on my wispy sets, especially especially for my longer lashes. I love to run this through the base and even through the whole top to give my spikes or even that wet lash look. So it will pretty much help to increase the speed of the glue. If you are struggling with your glue drying too slow, this will be perfect for that. And again, you could put this on the lash line after your primer to pretty much do the same thing, make sure the glue dries faster, and it helps with retention. It even says it on there, it's a retention and speed booster. I love this so much. So out of everything that I mentioned, if you don't want to spend the money, I'm just saying it's not a must. So yeah, like I was saying before I got cut off, that it is not a must, but it will help. And I had to mention it in this video because we are talking about retention. So all these products that I have mentioned, that I mean, they're just good. Washing your client's lashes before, and then you'll go in with the primer to make sure that anything that was left over from the wash, any oil residue, is completely taken off with the primer. And then you'll go in with the booster to help with retention and speed the glue, the dry time of your glue. And then with the Royal Bond, amazing attachment. This glue is everything to me. And then again with the London Lash, the Super Bonder, so good. Oh my goodness. And I promise, guys, I promise I'm not talking about them because I'm getting paid or because I'm sponsored. I have nothing to do with London Lash. I just talk about them because I love it so much. Okay, so lastly, the most important tip is aftercare. And I feel like as a beginner, we kind of just skip over this because we're just like, whatever, you know. But making sure that you have proper aftercare to give to your clients, or have your clients properly take care of their lashes, is probably 50% of the job. So retention is 50-50. I always say this. I know people have like a different feeling about this, but I say that retention is 50-50. 50% of what you do in your chair, the products that you do, making sure that everything that you're doing is on point, and then the way that your clients are taking care of them at their house has a lot to do with it too. So like I was saying earlier about my client, you know, I'm using the same products, I'm doing the exact same things, I'm making sure that everything is good. So I didn't understand why all my other clients were coming in with beautiful retention, and then here she was, and I'm like, we can't figure it out. Like, what is going on? I don't understand. So the fact that we were able to narrow it down, that she was washing her lashes 3 times a day, she was using a very heavy cleanser, and even though she wasn't washing her lashes with it, it was still getting in her lashes. And you can only imagine those really strong chemicals that was inside her cleanser, you can only imagine what it was doing to her lashes. So yes, I'm glad that we narrowed it down. And the reason why I mentioned it is sometimes your client's skincare routine will affect the extensions. So some clients probably use really oily products with like intense hydration. They do use eye creams with like heavy oils, little things like that. So you do have to be careful and pretty much ask them exactly what it is that they use on their skin. That is very important. If you do not provide aftercare kits for your clients, I recommend to start doing it now, or at least send them to websites or even Amazon. That way they know that they need to purchase it. If your clients are refusing to wash their lashes, and if you can clearly see that they're not washing their lashes, you have to scare them into what could happen if they continue to go down this road. I scare all my clients about lash mites, which are little bugs in your lashes that just live there. It's disgusting. You definitely don't want that, or have to deal with it, because it is not cute. And you could always tell who is not washing their lashes, because then you start to see buildup or like dry little flakes on the lash line and on the extensions. It is disgusting. And it's okay to call out your clients if they're not washing them. You better call them out, girl, and tell them, what is this? Because it's not fair to you that you're putting in all this work and then they're not even taking care of it. Yeah, they might be paying you for it, but you're the one that has to see it. You're the one that has to work through it. It's really not nice, you know. I say that as a professional, you should take initiative and start providing aftercare kits for your clients. That way they know that you ain't playing around about how important it is for them to wash their lashes. So scare them if you have to. Tell them about the eye infections that they could possibly get. If you guys want more information about eye infections and all that, I can do a separate video, but that is something that you should have been taught in your lash course. And if you are self-taught, then that's probably why you don't know about it. But yes, it is very important for them to properly wash their lashes, because if they continue not to wash them, they will continue to have bad retention. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps up today's video. I talked about the importance of prepping, the importance of proper glue and proper placement and the right amount of glue, proper aftercare, and how important that is. And I feel like a lot of you guys don't realize how important it is, and you pretty much have to scare your clients into telling them like, hey, if you continue not to wash your lashes, you're going to continue to have bad retention, and I'm going to have to continue charging you for a full set, and we both don't want that. So also about retention, what I do recommend is for you to remind your clients to come in every 2 weeks. I feel like 3 weeks, it just gives you more work to do. 4 weeks is already considered a full set. If your clients are coming in at 3-4 weeks and they hardly have any lashes, and I wonder why. It's because you pushed it out too long, and that's just, why would you do a fill when it should have been a full set, you know? 4 weeks is way too long. That shouldn't even be considered a fill. Yes, 2 weeks, your clients need to be coming in at 2 weeks, and that's how you will really tell if your retention is good or not. Because if you're pushing it out to 3-4 weeks, you're probably thinking that your retention is bad, but it isn't. It just means that you pushed it out a little too far. So I highly recommend for you to start doing your fills at 2 weeks and remind your clients why it's so important. They need to come in, get all those grown out lashes removed, and fill them in with new lashes. And it also ensures that your client continues to have full sets continuously. So yeah, those are my tips for retention, and I hope they helped. If you guys would like a discount code for London Lash, I will have everything linked down below for you guys. These are just the products that have been working for me, and again, I'm not talking about them because I'm getting paid. I'm talking about them because I really do love them. Also guys, before I finish off this video, I don't know, I'm pretty sure a bunch of you guys are new here, but I am starting to offer my online courses, especially for you beginner artists who do want to get trained but don't know where to go to or can't travel. I will have beginner courses like my classic course, my volume course, but right now I am starting off with my online signature wispy course. So if you do want to learn how to make those beautiful wispy sets, this textured, my signature, like if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Pretty much, yeah, it's my online signature wispy styling course, and with that course you are pretty much gonna learn everything from beginning to end. I'm gonna guide you step by step on exactly how it is that I do a wispy set. That way you don't feel lost or feel confused. I know here on my YouTube channel I kind of just get through some parts and you're just like, wait, what just happened, you know? So with my online course, I'm gonna walk you through each step and kind of simplify it a little bit more so it's easier to understand, and you will get certified. So with all my online courses, you will get certified after. And for my wispy course, as of right now, I only have it, the price that it's at right now, it's because it does include a 2-hour mentorship call and a kit. But I am going to be coming out with, before I launch it, we are going to add the option that if you don't want the mentorship call and if you don't want the kit, you just want the course because you want to use your own products, then that option will be there for you too. And it's the same thing with all my other courses. I'm going to have different options for you guys, that way you guys can choose what will work better for you guys. Make sure to go sign up for my pre-sale if you are interested. You will not get charged. It is just a pre-sale, and it will just notify you when it is ready for purchase. So make sure to go do that, okay? All right. All right guys, so that pretty much wraps up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.